Hey, what's going on, social media family? Michael Cabradilla right here in San Diego, California. And we have been reading through this book right here, 100 Simple Secrets of Happy People, what scientists have learned and how you can use it. We've been reading through it mainly to just find out, like, how do people become happier people, right? It really is habits sometimes, or things that we develop or work on a daily basis, and over time we can become happier, right? For our families, for our friends, for our co-workers, for our spheres of influence, our community, our children. And so we've been reading through it, sharing some insight, maybe posing some questions, and we definitely encourage you to communicate, to comment. Let us know what you think after you hear this. So Chapter 63, how we see the world is more important than how the world is. What is the shape of the world and what condition is it in? Scientists, philosophers, and kings could offer a never-ending debate on that question. But there's no real grade for the world apart from the one that you assign it. Scientists did a study in which they showed people a deck of playing cards. On each of these cards, however, something was wrong. Something differed from the usual. The 4 of clubs was red. The 5 of diamonds had 6 diamonds. People were shown the cards and asked what they saw. Were people surprised to see these obviously error-filled cards? They were not, because they didn't notice. When asked to describe the cards they were looking at, people answered that they were looking at the 5 of diamonds or the 4 of clubs. They didn't mention that the cards were mismarked, like red or black, right? So why did this happen? Because what we see is a function not only of what is really there, but also of what we are looking for, our expectations, our assumptions. People who have experienced similar life events can wind up with nearly opposite perceptions of life satisfaction. Researchers have compared, for example, people who have received a job promotion, and they found that some of the people treasure the opportunity that others lament, and others lament the added responsibility. The implications of life events are a matter of perspective. Love this. It really is about how we have our perspective, right? I remember having a conversation years ago with a friend, and I remember him saying, and this was in college, I believe, and he said, with all of the things that you have gone through, whatever that meant for him, you know, with an outside perspective looking in at me, he said, even after all the things that you've gone through, you still have a positive outlook and a positive attitude. I remember listening to an audio, personal development audio series with a gentleman by the name of John Addison. And it was the first time I had ever heard someone say, act the way you want to feel, and soon you will feel the way you act. Meaning, if you're grumpy, man, just start pretending you're excited, and you can't help but become excited eventually, right? And, you know, or being happy. If you're sad, you know, you can force yourself to be happy. Actually, there are so many different things that you can do, right? Let's say, and I'm a normal person, right? Every now and then I get angry, or I get frustrated. Like yesterday, something happened in our kitchen. Where in our oven, there was some oil that was spilled into the oven, and when we turned the oven on, it started smoking. And I had all these plans to do X, Y, Z, do this, do that, and I got a little ticked. I got a little irritated because I didn't want to do this right now. I didn't want to have to clean this. I didn't want to have to take care of this, but I had to. And I noticed my attitude while I was doing it, and I reminded myself that typically when I'm like in an irritated, negative mood, it tends to like spiral, like more stuff actually falls apart. Why? Because I'm in that mode of like just being irritated. I remember hearing years ago that if you're angry or if you're sad at something or disappointed at something, one of the things that you can do, and you can share, like, what are some things that you do? But it said, give yourself 10 seconds, give yourself 30 seconds, give yourself a minute. Look at the clock and say, you know what? By 2:15, I'm just going to be done with this. I'm going to wallow. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to scream if I need to. But by 2:15, this is done. This is over. I'm going to move on. That was one thing that I learned. But it really is about perspective, the way that we take things in. It's not about the way, that we react in some cases. Sometimes it's the way that we respond, right? So let's go back to the title of this chapter and we'll wrap up. How we see the world is more important than how the world actually is. We can always shift our perspective to a more positive, a more constructive, and a happier perspective, right? So what are your thoughts? Feel free to put some comments below. Would love to hear from you. Would love to continue the conversation. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you on the next video, which will be chapter number 64. Take care. God bless you.